10.06 miles, 8 minutes, 40 seconds per mile today, back in Chicago, and quite a difference it is. What a welcome back home. A 40-degree swing in temperatures from yesterday's run, which was in the 80s for the highs, although it's probably closer to mid-60s when I was running early in the morning. And today, though, it was in the low 40s for my run, windy, rainy, just really tough conditions to come back to after being in the warm, dry desert. Today's run I thought would be a nice change of pace from running up in the hills, getting back onto flatland. I thought I'd be flying by with the paces today, but even just to hit the paces that I did hit today took a lot of extra effort because everything is just really tired and a bit banged up. I wanted to go over a little bit of an inventory. A lot of you guys have been asking how I'm doing after the fall. I'm doing fine. It could have been much worse. I've got some scrapes on my hand. Sorry if it's a little bit gross. This is now 2 mornings after the fall. By the time I'm filming this part where I'm showing you guys the hand, it's mostly just scrapes. It's still a little bit fresh. I'm keeping it covered during the day just so I don't get stuff in it and just so people don't have to look at it because it looks much worse than it is. My shoulder took the brunt of the fall though. Fortunately, nothing really broken open in terms of skin, but it is very tender and it is sore. I've also got a bruise on my forearm too, which I'm not sure if that's where the selfie stick hit, like maybe it crossed my body and hit, or if I hit a rock there or something, but I've got a big bruise on my forearm as well. But that's all fine. The main thing that took a lot of injury was the selfie stick. It's pretty much scraped up and it's really bent now. I can't get it to retract back down further than this. I've got another one ordered on the way. Pleasant surprise, it's only $16 right now. So even if you don't have an Insta 361X, if you're looking for a longer selfie stick, that's one I highly recommend. I really enjoy running with it. It's a little bit heavier, but certainly very sturdy and very useful to have that little bit of extra distance. That's not a sponsored post or anything like that. That's one that I'm buying and I really, really like it. The other thing that I thought might have been an issue was I only ran it with one earbud today. I don't know if you guys noticed that from the running footage. And that's because I thought I lost the other one. Now I ran all the way back to the car with both earbuds in. It's not like they fell out during the fall. But by the time I got to the airport, one was missing. So I thought maybe when I took them out in the car, I was pretty shaken up by the time I got back to the car. And I was worried that my hand was going to be dripping blood all over the place. So I thought maybe I a little too carelessly put them in the case or whatever. And maybe they were lost in the rental car somewhere. But I ended up finding it late last night as I was really unpacking everything and getting ready for my next trip, which would be this weekend to go to Iowa to see some in-laws. So I did find it. So that's very fortunate. I'm very happy about that because those were really expensive earbuds, the Jabra Elite 65T. I really like them. I would have been really upset if I had permanently lost them. The other thing that's kind of bothering me, other than like my quads are being just absolutely torn to shreds and my hip being a little bit sore, like my butt muscles, just from running in the hills, which I don't normally do, is my right ankle is a little bit tender. There was one point, and it doesn't have to do with the fall, where I came down, I think it was 2 runs ago, or like the second day in the hills, I was coming down and I was stepping on a rock, and I knew I'd be stepping on a rock as I came down, but it was a little bit, the angle was sharper than I had anticipated, and my ankle definitely bent a little bit more than I was expecting and a little bit more than it should have. And I knew instantly that I'd kind of done something. It didn't bother me right away, but I felt a little bit tender the following day, and then today for like the first mile and a half, it felt like, ooh, maybe I need to take a day off. But after about a mile or so, it felt much better, and by a mile and a half, I didn't even notice it anymore. So that was just something else that was going on in there, and I just thought I'd mention it to you guys to let you guys kind of know where I'm at. So it's not going to hopefully affect marathon training at all. Still on pace, I think, although with running in the hills, I didn't get as many miles in, so I'm worried about hitting my mileage number for this week. But hopefully I'll get it all sorted out. The other thing that I want to talk to you guys about today real quick though was I do have a sponsored post planned for tomorrow, Friday, and but you might not see it right away depending on if I can get the funding taken care of. So for sponsored posts, what I like to do is rather than having the company pay me, which I find a little bit problematic, have them pay or donate to a charity, which I pick. So it's kind of the same thing financially in terms of potential bias. But the whole idea for me doing sponsored posts is I get asked by a lot of companies to take a look at their stuff. I say no a ton of times because I'm just not interested, or I don't think you guys would be interested. But every once in a while, something comes along that either I had been already looking at, or is something that piques my interest as something that might either make for a fun video, a useful video, or something that you might not think could be used for running that I can use for running. That kind of thing sometimes comes up. Tomorrow's going to be one of those things. And I've asked that company to make a donation to Salute Inc., which is the charity that I'm running for the Chicago Marathon. Now, they're not donating to my fundraising campaign. That company, I'm going to ask them to donate to someone else's fundraising campaign at Salute Inc. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is that different enough than them just paying me? Because if it isn't that different, then I just won't do sponsored posts at all, or I'll do sponsored posts but without asking for money. But the way I see it is the companies are looking for ways to get access to you guys. And so ultimately, I'll ask you guys what you guys think in terms of, do you find that kind of thing useful? I'll post links in the description to a couple of other sponsored posts that I've done to give you guys some reference. Were those products things that you thought were useful videos for me to make, or not? And if they're not, then we'll just stop doing those, at least for a little while, and then I'll kind of gauge the temperature for you guys in terms of whether you guys want that later or not. So I'd love to get some feedback from you guys just to give me a little bit more guidance, because it's always kind of hard. I get like the kind of like comment anyway that like I'm a Nike fanboy, or that these videos are bought and paid for kind of thing. I know I'm going to get those anyway. So that's not the thing I'm trying to avoid. I'm fine with some of those comments. They're not true, but I understand why they exist and why people want to make them. But in terms of when I do actually have people exchange money, just want to know how you guys feel about that. So let me know in the comments. That's all I have for today. Just a quick video before I get started for Friday of this week. My week's all messed up just because I was away out of town for work, but it's already Friday. The week's flying by, but I just wanted to get this video out for you guys to kind of know where I stand on everything. But before I go today, I want to talk about a new charity runner for this week. The new charity runner for this week is Paul Leahy. He's going to be running in the Lincoln Marathon this weekend. He's running the half marathon, but he's raising money for Project Purple, which is an organization that hopes to find a cure for pancreatic cancer. And this cause is particularly important to Paul because he lost his Uncle Ken several years ago to pancreatic cancer. And in that very same year, his cousin's wife, Christy, also lost her battle to cancer. And so unfortunately, this is something that has really affected Paul and his family quite deeply. So I was very happy to be able to donate $70 to Paul's fundraising efforts. And I'll post links in the description if you want to learn more. Now, that's all I have for today, everybody. Thanks so much for making it to the end of the video, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?